Alright, what's up y'all, it's Lake2 here. As you can see by the title of today's video, why Sableye is Sneasler'S worst nightmare in Pokemon Champions. So, Sneasler'S move pool, as we all know, are things like Dire Claw, Close Combat, Fake Out, using it into the opposing leads that aren't, let's say, Ghost types. Because I lead something like Gengar very often, right? So Sneasler doesn't really target him very often, goes for the Fake Out into the opposite slot, typically, or even Close Combat into something like, let's say, Incineroar, for instance, right? He could hit a faster Fake Out than Incineroar is able to, or he could hit a faster Close Combat, etc, etc. And with the White Herb as well, if I did lead Incineroar, it's going to boost up his speed, all types of stuff like that, right? Well, let's talk about why that makes something like Sableye able to patch that up. So if things like Fake Out or Close Combat come into my slot with Sableye, Sableye now has the ability to shut him down entirely, almost literally just seal him, like completely put him in the void for the whole rest of the game. So when paired next to Gengar as well, with his Shadow Tag ability that he will have as a Mega, it makes it so Sneasler won't be able to leave the field at all as long as I don't switch Gengar out. And because we have Sableye plus Gengar together with the Shadow Tag and the Encore, or, you know, Disable in some cases as well, but mainly Encore, we're able to keep Sneasler stuck hitting either Fake Out or Close Combat into two Ghost types. So now we're fighting a 2v1 for as long as we want. And remind you too, because of Shadow Tag, we could literally keep Sneasler out there for eternity. We could just keep on hitting Encore into him if he like hit Fake Out or Close Combat until his PP runs out of the move, and then he has to struggle. As long as we get our timing right on the Encore, he will be stuck out there permanently. So anyway, we're gonna get straight into the gameplay with this one. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like. So if you're new to noties, good stuff. And like always, try this one to 200 likes. What I do want to mention to you guys though, we have some ideas of something different that you're going to see in the videos pretty soon. You're going to see Altaria is not on the squad for the very first time, like in all of the whole time we've been running this. But however, what I will do, I'm going to throw this team up here real quick as a copy if you guys would like to, just to give you some frame of mind for what you're going to see in the actual video. Or matter of fact, I guess it's already up here. However, I do think there's a better way to create Sableye, and I think that's to give him the defense investment rather than special defense. When you force people to struggle, it's going to hit through your Ghost type and do about like a normal move 50 power essentially. So to give him defense, and it hits physically, I should exaggerate that to you guys as well, because that's why I do think the defense investment might be better for Sableye. If he gets hit with like something like a special attack fairy move, he's getting deleted anyway, so I'm not really too concerned about that. And we have Focus Sash on him too, so things like struggle I think are better to play into, in my opinion, with him. So what I'm gonna do instead is share this team, and it'll literally just be copying over Sableye as a defensive mon instead. So here's going to be the code for that. As you can see, we'll pull that up one more time, view details, and then boom, there you go. There's the team ID if you want to copy that over. And hey, I just got to say, shout out to you guys. I was looking at things like Altaria and Morpeko, and it was hilarious to see their top allies be my team. Like literally the top 5 people that they've been paired next to are exactly these guys. So it's clear that even more people are using Altaria and Morpeko, like, because of the squad that I'm running, than anybody even is at all, like, yeah, otherwise. So that's been really cool to see. We have a couple of unique mons that have found their way into only being used in my type of team comp, or if not used in my team comp, very rarely, so much that they don't, show up their other allies in that top 5. But anyway, yeah, a couple of revamps. One last revamp, I know I'm yapping here, but I do want to tell you guys, if you do plan to use Substitute on Gengar, I now have a new suggestion about the EV spread. Going 8 on special attack still secures the KOs on Basky Legion pretty consistently. I'll talk about calcs hopefully in tomorrow's video, or maybe 2 days from now, I'm not sure. But anyway, the point is, investing this much exactly in your HP allows you to hit Substitute 4 times and live on 1 HP. It's a bit of a rare occurrence, to be fair, but because you're really fast and you might be hitting sub to try and protect yourself from, an inevitable ending Perish Trap, but you need to survive it the whole time, you may need those substitutes at some point. And the same thing will apply to Morpeko when I talk about it in probably tomorrow's video or something like that as well. But yeah, I just have revamped it to where he has 161 HP, because 160 was exactly divisible by 4, so each substitute will drop 25% of your HP. So I was going down, 40 HP every single time I was doing it. Now you will still also go down 40 HP every time, but you'll live on 1 HP, allowing you to get 1 more sub off. really nerdy stuff, but it's what we've been labbing. So anyway, yeah, here's the ID though for that defensive Sableye. Let's get into the gameplay now. Also, I guess I could just show you guys my desktop while I'm at it right here. This was the gameplay from yesterday, just to clarify that this is not the same exact thing. So you'll see this was their lead, right? They had, for instance, the Sneasler and Delphox lead, and this was their name. Just wanted to clarify that it's not the exact same game. This right here, I wanted to go ahead and show, is a different game that they ended up having a similar lead, and it's because, hey, real stuff, this is a very popular team comp on the rise right now. I mean, between Garchomp being popular, Sneasler being popular, and then Mega Delphox being on the rise as well, King Gambit covers for a lot of those guys' weaknesses, and then redirect from Mousehold to be able to protect things like, you know, Delphox and Sneasler and stuff like that as well. Long story short, we've been playing a lot of Delphoxes, a lot of Sneaslers, and a lot of Garchomps. So let's get into this and kind of give you guys the breakdown of how this team's going to work out really good. So here we can fast forward just a little bit to where we actually start locking in the leads. You can see we go with the Gengar Sableye lead, and then Kamo O to kind of patch things up on the back because he's going to be our matchup into Garchomp, King Gambit, and also be able to wall Sneasler pretty well also. So time's running down. We got like 10 seconds. We ended up locking it in. I'm going Blastoise instead of Incineroar just because Incin kind of gets deleted by Garchomp, Sneasler, would give a Defiant boost to King Gambit, so not exactly what we really want to, you know, match up into that as far as like defensive purposes. But anyway, they go with that same lead we were talking about before. However, this time I have Sableye out here early, so we could do a couple of different things. I could maybe even like fake out Delphox and then go substitute with Gengar. I could go Shadow Ball right off rip. I could go fake out into Delphox plus Shadow Ball as well. There's many different things we could do now, and this is a much better lead than, for instance, that Kamo O and Gengar lead that I did, because this is going to give us some flexibility off the rip. And Sneasler can't even fake out anybody, so now we're just playing around the fact that maybe he has to either A, as you can see, switch out because we don't have the Shadow Tag out here yet, or B, he would maybe be able to, let's say, hit like Dire Claw or something like that at best, but that's still not going to be very good for him. So good move by them switching Sneasler out. However, now here's where we have a little bit of stuff going our way. Delphox uses Protect. Now, on paper, this looks really bad, right? I could have maybe hit a substitute. That would have been really good value. But this is okay too, because now Delphox is stuck using Protect as well. Now, as far as the narrative for the video, just remember, Sneasler, so much of a worse nightmare than Sableye is that they end up getting him out because he has no ability to hit the fake out. Now, this is where we have a really good, you know, ability to do this, and we'll also have the next gameplay is very much into the Sneasler as well. So as far as this turn goes, we have our Protect available because we went Shadow Ball first turn. It's actually like really beautiful that it ended up that way. I think the worst case scenario would have been if I protected first turn, because we either wanted to get the sub off and like, you know, in combination of a fake out so that if Delphox didn't do a move that we would have a sub up right here, and then our Protect would still be available, because what we want to do is stall out the Garchomp now while we use something with Sableye. So basically, we're going Protect right here, and then we're going to hit Encore into Delphox. Delphox is going to be stuck, and I'll just fast forward because they play out their Mega, you know, turn. Anyway, as you can see, Sableye with the Encore into Delphox, they are now stuck protecting for 3 turns in a row. So we have Delphox completely dealt with now. As far as what Garchomp does, we're going to find out in just a second here and figure out what we want to do with it as far as dealing with this. So he goes Earthquake. They're going to get some good damage into Sableye. This was him as a special defense invested, by the way. Anything that I have in this gameplay is going to be him built with special. So he would take that way, way better with the defense up nature and full investment into defense rather than the special D. Anyway, now we could do a couple of different things here. I mean, we could disable their Earthquake and, you know, go sub to keep Gengar safe just in case they have Stopping Tantrum or something like that. So we are going to be disabling Earthquake, and if they hit it again, that means we'll be able to Encore them, and then they're going to get stuck struggling. So as you can see, Delphox stuck in their Protect loop, disable. If they do try and use an Earthquake, not only will they not get it off, but then that means we have now also snagged the ability to hit the Encore into them next turn to keep them struggling. So we go Gengar sub whenever Delphox gets out of this, or Garchomp, you know, somehow doing the right play right there. We're chilling. Delphox with that double Protect, and did it fail on that turn? Let me see. We've got Delphox with okay, so that was perfect, right? Their Protect did not fail, so then that means we can fire off a Shadow Ball into them, because it's very unlikely they get like a double to pop off right here. So anyway, and it's still not completely lost value even if they did. So as you'll see, protect fails right here. Shadow Ball is gonna be able to hit into them, as well as we're gonna get Garchomp stuck in that loop of the Earthquake spam, even though he can't use it. So Encore plus Disable, there's the power of it. I had a lot of people asking about why both. Why not maybe something like Quash or Will-O-Wisp, or even Gravity is a very interesting play paired with Hypnosis on Gengar, because it's going to make the accuracy really high. But anyway, Delphox ends its Encore. However, we still have them in a terrible, terrible spot for themselves right now, because we could Encore again into Delphox. Now what they could do is protect this turn as well. I'm going to fire off a Shadow Ball into Garchomp just because of something like that, and we're going to hit Encore on Delphox. So if they want to go protect again, that's cool. Unfortunately for their sake, as you can see, we Encore them with priority, and then that means that they now will use priority protect as well. So even though they're firing off a different move, unfortunately, even though you might not think it's the case, protect is actually the optimal play right there for their sake. But anyway, yeah, now Garchomp is going to struggle because it has no moves left that it can use. As you can see, boom, popping off the struggle damage, right? And this is why I was just telling you guys about the idea of maybe going defense investment on Sableye. He'd be able to tank all this stuff so much better. Like, so much better. So anyway, we could do a couple of things here. We could either protect with him, or we could maybe try and get out as well. I do feel like, you know, disable into Delphox could be our safe play, because it'll keep Sableye on the field just in case Delphox's Encore eventually ends. And I already know, obviously, that Garchomp is slower than our Gengar because he was running multiple different moves, so he's not Scarfed. So anyway, we're able to fire off that Shadow Ball into Garchomp at this point because we know this is going to get the KO now, and we still have the sub up on Gengar too. So great things all around going on right now, and all because Sneasler was too afraid of fighting these guys on the lead. Sneasler is cooked by these dudes, and if he comes out right now, he's useless too. So the long story short is they have to play like a 3v4 right now, and all of that considered too, they had to switch him out, and they also still have to deal with the fact that the rest of their party can't play the game because we have Sableye hitting Encores and Disables and stuff like that. So they actually go Sneasler out here off the lead. We have our Protect available, and also I could just Shadow Ball into this as well. Or, you know, like I said, we could potentially Protect on the Sableye this turn because we didn't use it on the previous one. So now we can just fire off some damage into Sneasler while we still have a sub up. And because I'm protecting Sableye, it makes it so he's still going to be available on the next turn for if Delphox's Encore does end. So we can just put Delphox in an infinite loop, man. I'm telling you guys, like, this stuff is diabolical. It's like almost even just grimy at this point and like kind of disgusting. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, Shadow Ball going into Sneasler. Most people are going to be running White Herb or Focus Sash on him, so obviously, you know, to fire off some damage, not too bad. I think the worst case scenario would have been if I got a special defense drop on the Shadow Ball, and then it would have popped as Unburden. But even still, I don't think we're really bugging because Priority Prankster into the Encore right here is going to make it so Delphox is cooked regardless. And if it uses Protect, Gengar's faster than the Sneasler as well. So yeah, they're in a terrible spot right now for sure. And even if let's say, and they make the right play there, obviously, right, with the Delphox Protect, but even if Sneasler does outspeed right here on the Gengar as well, we would still be fine with like something like a Fake Out coming into the slot the next time. Just to clarify, I don't think it's a toss-up at all because my Gengar is base 130 speed and Sneasler is like base 120 something, so he's never faster. The thing that like allows him to be faster though is if the Unburden gets popped. That's where you might see Sneasler start doing things that you didn't expect to. So keep that in mind if you ever do get stat drops on him or if he hits close combat and stuff like that. As you can see though, they go for the forfeit. We don't even know who their fourth was that they brought, but yeah, I mean, an absolute threat into Gengar being Mega Delphox is 100% dealt with just because of Sableye. Like, purely. Because otherwise, Gengar is slower and gets a one-hit KO by Mega Delphox and it's just cooked. So, Sableye has been our saving grace on this team 100%. And same with, like, you know, covering for... Granted, it's not like a big weakness, but, you know, something like Sneasler is pretty good into Incineroar as well. So, it can at least cover for that weakness as well. But anyway, let's go ahead and get over to the next gameplay. Alright, so as you can see, these guys have a pretty menacing team as well. They got probably Scarf, Basculegion, Mousehold for Redirect, Floette, Sneasler, Aerodactyl. It's like a bunch of meta heads, you know what I mean? Like a bunch of dudes that are just probably like in the top 20 for usage for Mons. And obviously threatening Mega Floette. It'd be a bit of a curveball if they had Mega Aerodactyl, but we could maybe even still deal with that just because of Prankster Sableye as well. King Gambit, we're definitely bringing Kamo-O because of, not to mention, I think Kamo-O can wall Sneasler pretty good defensively, as well as Basket Legion too. And we even put like Breaking Swipe on Kamo-O now. That might not have actually been in the team sheet thing, for the record, by the way. That's a change that I made pretty recently. But the thing I've been concerned about with Kamo-O, just to expand on this while we're waiting for the game to start, because I only run Body Press, Draco, and then some other move that's like, for instance, a fighting move like Vacuum Wave or something like that I had been doing recently, I am instead going Breaking Swipe because it'll use our attack stat instead, right? So Draco is dropping our special attack, and then Body Press doesn't let us hit ghost types, anything with our fighting move, right? So instead, I'm running a physical dragon move of Breaking Swipe that will drop opponent's physical attack and also still be able to do damage after I've out-Draco'd myself, you know, into these ghost types. And it's still good coverage, too, to play defensively in a Paris Trap team to have the ability to drop the attack of both opponents on the field. So I'm all for it. Anyway, they go King Gambit and Basket Legion. We went Gengar Blastoise. So Blastoise threatens Fake Out. We also have the potential to maybe try and go for the Basket Legion KO and, you know, to be faking out King Gambit right here. In the back of my head, sometimes this was questionable. However, I will let you guys know, I've done some calcs recently and really like have a lot more comfort into stuff like this. So Basket Legion with Last Respects only gets a KO on Gengar if other teammates have been KO'd, because Last Respects gets powered up 50 power for each ally that gets dropped. So when you lead him, he's not threatening at all because Wave Crash can't get the one-hit KO, even if, you know, like he's Scarfed and Adamant with 252 investment and stuff like that, like maximum attack. He doesn't get the KO with the Wave Crash, and then I 100% KO him. And then I'm like 81% chance to KO with Shadow Ball into Basket Legions, and I'll outspeed any of them that aren't Speed Up Nature, Full Investment, and Scarfed. So that's like the only way they can outspeed Gengar is if they have, you know, a non-attack up nature and it's just speed up instead, and then full investment into their speed. All right, now this is the beauty of Sableye, right? So what you're going to see them do, basically, is they're going to go for the flip turn to get out of here, which maybe they're just full confident that they were going to be faster because they are, like, let's say, timid with full investment into the speed as well. So they're going to be able to outspeed Gengar in this situation, and they probably know they want to save him for the back for the sake of his Last Respects. But this gives me intel for later in the fight as well. So what you're going to see us do, I'm firing off that Shadow Ball into Basket Legion with the Mega as well, and we're going Fake Out into King Gambit. They go flip turn and obviously get faked out. So that's what's going to develop on this turn right here. And what ends up coming out in the back is going to be Sneasler. So boom, we go Fake Out on the King Gambit. We go Shadow Ball into Bask, except, oh, Bask is faster and hitting flip turn. So they probably should have done that in the Gengar slot as well, but maybe they're worried about a Protect, so they like wanted to make sure they could get out right now. It's also good to know because that means we can't Paris Trap Bask either, but I mean, to be fair, he's a Ghost type anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Well, we weren't really planning to Paris Trap in this game anyway. It's kind of hard to do something like that with a King Gambit in your face as well, so you kind of just have to do what you can to delete him with attacks. So we're going to show why that's the case. So they go Sneasler, and then we delete like about, I don't know, a majority of his health bar, but boom, there you go with the White Herb, right? Boom, it's just not what you want to see. We dropped his special D, but it worked out perfect for him. So with Blastoise right here, he's being threatened to be faked out, and then obviously we have King Gambit about to hit some dark move, count out cleave, or sucker punch, whatever the heck he decides to go for. Instant idea is to double protect to avoid the fake out. However, then I'm like, hold on, why am I worried about a fake out with a double protect when I could just simply switch to Sableye right now and cook them? So that's what you're gonna see right here. I mean, they go fake out, you know, almost every single time a Sneasler pops out here to enable their ally to get a KO, and it's gonna be the perfect storm, you know, like that's just the best way to do this, and we would be pinned in a pretty tough spot if not for this. And I would consider flip turning with Blastoise, but again, if he gets faked out, he can't even pull off the switch. So instead, we go Protect with Gengar to save ourselves from the King Gambit damage, and then also go into Sableye. Sneasler uses Fake Out, and now we have King Gambit using Kowtow Cleave. Now, here's how we can bypass the whole King Gambit threat right now. I have Substitute and Protect. I have been recently running Reflect type. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I think it might be just simply better to just like run the sub, because it can be really helpful in most cases. I was trying to get all innovative. I'm trying to do new things, like see if we can learn. But anyway, for this gameplay, we got that substitute on, and as you're gonna see, we go Encore into Sneasler, keep him stuck in that fake out. He ain't doing a whole thing for the rest of the fight. Now, it's gonna be a little bit of a slow, tedious grind to get out of here, because they actually go Protect on Sneasler, and that is tough. We don't like seeing that. So Fortunately, however, we do have the ability to hit this substitute to kind of do like sub protect to keep us alive with King Gambit. And again, if he hits Sucker Punch, that only works if you're readying an attacking move. So he has no ability to get like, you know, a hit on us early as long as we're not hitting Shadow Ball, which we can easily deal with for sure. So into the next turn, we unfortunately lose, you know, a quarter of Gengar's HP right there. And this is why I was talking about getting Gengar to 161 HP. It is convenient, you know, all things considered. So we're okay with encoring Sneasler into Protect too. That's cool with me. As long as he's sitting here and he's a bot and he can't do anything, that's all right. And realistically, the only thing he can do that's even in his bag at that point, if he's running Fake Out, Protect, and Close Combat, would then be Dire Claw as his fourth move. And that'll still be okay into Sableye. I have been obviously looking into that as far as investing the defense into him and seeing that, holy moly, is the defense way better just in general for stuff like that with tanking Dire Claws, etc., etc. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the defense investment as far as that goes. But yeah, as you can see, now we have Sneasler stuck in the Protect spam. So what are we going to do now instead? Kowtow into the Protect from Gengar. Now that we have Sneasler set up and King Gambit is a dark type, so we can't use our prankster moves on him, we're just going to keep stalling with Gengar a little bit longer. Only needs to hold up a little bit more, because what we're going to do is get the absolute hitter in here for King Gambit. Just the dude that's going to wipe him off the face of the earth. So Sneasler's going to be stuck protecting for 2 more turns, so it's going to be this turn and then the next turn after that as well. So this is just enough time for us to, like, you know, be able to deal with the King Gambit quickly and easily. So you can see we go with another sub, and now we're at 50% of our HP. Once again, if we had 161 HP, it'd be a lot more clean in a situation like this in case we had to really stall it out. However, they go with the Kowtow into the other slot, trying to get rid of Sableye. That was very interesting. So now I have my sub up, and if King Gambit hits me, I'm not even bugging. So what we could do is go Shadow Ball into Sneasler and snag that KO, and then go Body Press into King Gambit and snag the KO at the same time. The thing is, I don't know if King Gambit's going to be running Protect, but with the Encore ending in 1 more turn, I think it is smart to let's just get rid of Sneasler and go Body Press into King Gambit and just absolutely delete him. Vacuum Wave, I don't believe gets the KO. It's definitely not enough damage. However, it does like a crazy amount, like 70% or something. So they go Protect on Sneasler. That's a little bit unfortunate because it's going to throw off our timing a little bit, and his Unburden has been popped as well. So yeah, like he's going to outspeed somebody on the next turn. However, as you can see, Body Press, boom, taking King Gambit off the field in 1 turn. And that is a bulky mon right there, man. Like, that is just so crazy that Combo is able to snag those types of KOs consistently. So now we do have a sub up though on Gengar. So if Basque comes out or something like that, we know we're safe. So that's cool with me. Same with also Dire Claw. Rarely pops the substitute. I've never seen it, for the record. But anyway, yeah, this is the perfect outcome now, because if Basque Legion is out here and we have a sub up, that's exactly what we need. So I could go like Draco or Body Press into Sneasler. Body Press sometimes gets like KO range on that, but I think Draco is the more reliable amount of damage, just because we could one time use it, you know, and like if we were down on our special attack for using Draco earlier, then it wouldn't have any chance at getting a KO right here, obviously. But anyway, they go Dire Claw into Combo O. Again, I don't think they can break sub on that, so it is what it is. And as you can see, they get to sleep with the Dire Claw. And then they go Last Respects into Combo O as well. They don't know I got that beefy boy. I got that freaking defense up one, not that frail little nonsense everybody else is running. But I'm not hating. The Clanging Scales, Clangorous Soul set is definitely very good as well. But yeah, the bulk, as you can see, is very nice for this Perish Trap style of team, though, of being able to play it really slow and just, like, you know, allow ourselves to set up really good and, you know, just play wall. So they have Floette in the back, the Mega Floette. Now, right here, this looks like a really good time to Perish, in my opinion. Whether I get KO'd or not, like, at this point, Sneasler can't really do anything to me with, like, the sub up. So even if he did, like, break the sub, we're still cool. I could probably just get the Perish song off and just stall out Floette for, like, 3 turns. Don't really have a lot of great damage into Floette, all things considered. I mean, we brought 2 people that are weak to Floette entirely. And now Combo is asleep, too. So yeah, not exactly great. We could still cover as well for, like, maybe just trying to protect and preserve Combo, because I do believe Gengar easily lives Dazzling Gleam from Floette even at this HP, even if the sub did get broke. But yeah, the Protect is not going to work. Combo is just going to get full slept right here. So, oh well, is what it is. Combo gets deleted. I mean, as you'd expect. And then they go Dire Claw into Gengar. As you're going to see, the sub does not break from the Dire Claw. Maybe a crit could pop that. But anyway, as you can see, we go Perish and then Soundproof, but it's not going to matter. But yeah, you don't hit your own combo O with the Perish song. So now Floette's on a counter. Sneasler is too, but like, oh well, we could probably KO Sneasler at some point here pretty easily as well. But yeah, they go Dazzling Gleam. Combo O gets deleted by that, and then Gengar, his sub is going to break after taking damage from Dazzling Gleam plus Dire Claw as well. So anyway, their Sneasler is faster. Their Floette, however, is not going to be than my Gengar. So we could do, you know, a couple of different things here. We could like double protect with whoever comes out. We could fake out plus maybe Shadow Ball. Like I got fake out potential from Blastoise right here to hit into Floette, and then maybe like hit Shadow Ball and just get the KO on Sneasler now, because he could be a little bit of a threat, but to be fair, he really doesn't do anything to, let's say, like Sableye and Gengar either. So, I don't know. Not even a big deal, but to stall out the turns of Floette is pretty good. And it saves us more chances at a protect for the next turn as well. So if we go Shadow Ball plus Fake Out right here, that would allow us to, you know, essentially be able to double protect the next turn, then their count's down to 1, and then we just win at that point. Because with Sableye in the back, he can just hit protect, and their count would fall to 0, and then, yeah, it's just over. So, anyway, a nice little mix here of Perish Trap as well as, well, it's not really Trap because we hit it on the final 2 people, but yeah, Perish Song to deal with Floette as well as, you know, because like if Floette went, let's say something like, oh, and by the way, look at Blastoise absolutely tanking that. But if Floette went something like Calm Mind, it'd be a little bit harder for us to get rid of them. We don't have a lot of good damaging moves on the team. So yeah, all things considered, when I see that Floette like anywhere on the field, I do like to deal with it through the Perish because we know it has no way to like pivot out. You know what I mean? So as long as we can keep Gengar on the field, which is all things considered pretty easy to do against Floette because all it has is fairy moves. If someone ran a curveball of having like Psychic on them, which I've seen they can, that would be a different story. But people don't have room for that. They run like, you know, they don't have enough versatility for having to, you know, cover for stuff like that. So like they run Protect, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, right? It's like a standard set all the time. You need spread damage, you need focus damage, and then you need to be able to protect yourself, and then Calm Mind to set up. Or if they don't have Calm Mind, they have Light of Ruin. So everybody's just been rocking out 3 or 2 fairy type moves and no coverage really. And it's fine because all it really ever gets you cooked against is poison types and steel types. But yeah, it just so happens that I run that very popular poison type that happens to be in the game. So anyway, that's all for the vid. However, I do want to just swap over to what we have for our like new set right here. So yeah, I know it's crazy, right? But I think we're going to be running without Altaria for a little bit at least, just to see how this goes. But I have a new concept that we will be entertaining in the next video, or at least tomorrow's vid potentially, because I will be mixing in those like Dex videos of trying to give the deep dive description on like all the mons. So we're starting to slow down the content just a little bit to like mix in the gameplays, maybe like 1 or 2 a day rather than like 3 like we were doing. But yeah, this is the new way I'm running the squad. I do believe the breaking swipe is the right way to go about Kamo-O. I do believe that the defense investment is the right way to go about Sableye. And then also, I think I really want to switch this, to be honest with you guys. The Reflect type was fun and like cool and all. I did it into like a T-Tar and let's say like a Incineroar that were both on the field at the same time, and I reflected Tyranitar's type, so I made Gengar Rock Dark, which resisted both the dark moves incoming to, you know, Gengar in that instance. But I think it's a little too niche. I think Sub is just a better way to protect him. And then also, like I was saying, paired with the idea of having the 161 HP, really good for the substitute synergy that you maybe could have seen us actually had to do like 1 more, maybe even 2 against that King Gambit, for instance, in a different use case. But the other thing I'm considering is maybe Disable, because pairing this with Sableye so much, I feel like this could be kind of good, you know, like to shut people down a little bit. And I think the problem is for people that are faster than me, I can't do this into. However, I could for one slower. So, I don't know. I mean, like, for instance, you could even do this into a King Gambit using Kowtow Cleave on you, and all of a sudden you can't do it. It's like, okay, well, there goes the threat, you know? Like, he ain't doing anything else anymore for the turn. Like, or, you know, for the whole entirety's on the field. And paired with the Shadow Tag, that can be very, very elite. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm searching for that final move on Gengar. I have been ever since we like loaded this game up for the first time. But I think the safe play is to just go sub and just call it a day. So I would rock out with that. If you really, really want the squad that we have right here and want to give this a try before we even drop the video on like Morpeko, I could drop that as well. But I will explain more of this. I don't really want to talk about any of it right now because I feel like it'd be better used for a video. But just know there's a lot of thought that went into this moveset. And granted, even though it's with a Scarf, the substitute is there for a reason as well. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll let you guys get the chance to see the team code for that one as well, because I probably will drop that at some point anyway, so I might as well just do it now. So share code, go over here, boom, share the current team that we have right now, and there you go. We'll get the code to pop up in a second here. Sorry, I know this takes a little bit of a second, but anyway, there you go. Team ID, there's the stats, there's the items, everything, blah, blah, blah. And there's the idea of pretty much what I think is the best use case for our team right now, with full investment into like all these calcs that we've considered and all types of stuff like that. So anyway, for instance, the Kamo O gets one-hit KOs into Garchomps. The Gengar has enough HP to still be, you know, getting that sub off while also being faster and being able to one-hit KO the Basket Legions that aren't scarfed and aren't max speed investment and aren't speed up nature. And if they are, they can't get the KOs on Gengar, but then we have to play a little cautious toward the back. Sableye, you ought to see this. Maybe I could pull it up real quick for you guys. Alright, so I don't know if Tyranitar is the best example because we won't really be able to make him struggle because he's a dark type and we can't prankster dark types, but I just want to use him as the example because physical damage that like you're going to take incidentally by like other people getting hit as well is something that you might run into. So Sableye with full in defense investment in 252 aka like 32 points on both of them for the defense and HP makes it so rock slides are doing 34 to 40% on an adamant Mega Tyranitar with full investment into attack. Now, I want to show you what this would look like if we ran it otherwise. Let's say we ran this as just the special defense. Remember these numbers right here, 34 to 40. So if we drop the defense down, go max investment here, and then go with the special defense nature instead. I said 34 to 40. Now it's going to be 50 to 59. So the like value of investing into that defense instead is huge. Imagine we didn't have HP as well, which I don't know why you'd ever do on a Sableye, to be fair, to now run HP plus some form of defense. But anyway, yeah, like it is just like almost twofold. It's almost double the like value of defensive investment. And same goes for the struggle too. Like that is still very helpful to take less damage from these struggles into opponents, because really they're trading damage into you if you're not investing very well into the defense. As opposed to, and remember again, this is Mega Tyranitar. That is pretty tough for us to deal with, like of amount of attack that this dude actually has. But anyway, yeah, if you go with the full investment defensively, that now turns to a 21 to 24% on the struggle. I think that's pretty desirable, you know? I mean, like to be taking less damage on that stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm a big believer that the defense nature is probably better. I kind of followed the trend too hard. I saw a majority of people running special defense up Sableye. I guess maybe that's to deal with like heat waves and stuff like that. I saw a lot of people running him as their rain dancer on like weather teams, so maybe that's what they wanted to deal with, was potentially the weather wars and stuff like that, blizzard, heat wave, etc., etc. But I don't know. I don't really think I'm bugging about that too hard. I think I'd rather him just be able to like tank the physical moves, invest fully into the defense. It's actually where he's more invested anyway right now. And then his sash can carry for the special defense stuff. Like, remind you, Floette, if we don't have any damage on Sableye, he can still tank a move from Floette, whether it's freaking Light of Ruin, whether it's Moonblast, whether it's Dazzling Gleam, because he has the focus sash. So I don't really care about the special defense investment because he can just live it anyway through the sash. And then we can protect him from stuff like that. Priority moves like Sucker Punch and stuff like that too are obviously physical. Majority of them are, I would say. I mean, Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, Aqua Jet, Jet Punch. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on, right? Like, the only priority special attack moves I think are like Vacuum Wave, which can't even hit him. And then yeah, I don't even know. Other than that, there's like Bullet Punch that's physical, obviously, too. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on any more priority special attack moves. Water Shuriken, technically, but I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? That actually would be a threat, though, for sure. Like Greninja, Water Shuriken into Sableye. You know what? While we're here, why not look at it? Let's look at Mega Greninja. This is the stuff that I'm really interested in as far as like looking at the, yeah, damage calcs. All right, here, let's do Water Shuriken. So yeah, special, let's say it hits 5 times. And then, oh my gosh, yeah, that's doing a ton of damage. Okay, so for a little bit there, I had a level 100 Greninja out there and it was doing a ton of damage. Okay, turns out Water Shuriken, even if it hits 5 times, even with us not invested into the special defense, it's still only going to do a max of like 60%. To be fair, I should invest into this because it's what typical every Greninja is probably going to do, is run something like this and maybe modest. Yeah, we're still going to live the Water Shuriken if it hit 5 times. A crit, you know, somewhere along the way could probably hurt, but yeah. And then for those who, you know, let's give a teaser for tomorrow's video. let's show this Morpeko custom set. Check this guy out. Scarf Morpeko against a Mega Greninja that has 142 base speed and he's full invested. Let's make him freaking timid. We're still faster. We're still faster than a full speed invested Mega Greninja with speed up nature too. And my reasoning for this, like I said, is and don't worry about the hyperspace fury and the plasma fist. This is just to show like the opposite typing in a ballpark of the damage that it's going to do, plus the fact that this is also a ballpark of what the knockoff damage would do if an item was on somebody too. So I just had to find moves that worked like that a little bit. But anyway, his aura wheel will be a one-hit KO into Greninja, guaranteed. If they protect though, it'll be a little bit of a different story, because then the aura wheel turns into blah blah blah. Let's change Morpeko's form, goes to hangry form, then it turns into this instead. So yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble play with the Scarf, but I have some visions for him for sure. And to be able to hit the parting shot, low key, you don't see it right now, but Scarf parting shot, I'm not gonna lie, I think that has some valid play too. So anyway, stay tuned for that, because I see big visions for my boy. But I said that last time, to be fair, when he had the sash. It's just that he started getting outsped by too many things. And, you know, I was like, well, he's in a good speed tier to low-key have a Scarf on him. Same way Garchomp is, honestly. So the only thing that Morpeko actually struggles with, in my opinion so far, is Garchomp. But we'll talk about that in a different video. I'll show you guys exactly what we're getting on. But just know we got big visions for these guys, for sure. So I like this squad. However, it does pain me to not have Altaria in here. But like, I think Morpeko covers us for a lot of the weaknesses that Altaria was covering us for. Like, for instance, into the weather teams, Morpeko could one-shot Charizard with the Aura Wheel. He can one-shot Pelipper and Basculegion both and outspeed the Basculegion as well with a Scarf and everything. And then, like, that's a huge threat that is now able to be dealt with easier for me. So it takes a lot of weight off Gengar's shoulders on those fights instead, because I'd be having to risk a lot, you know, on stuff like that. And if it just so turns out Basculegion is full speed invested and Scarfed, and is running adaptability with the, you know, last respects, that means I just lose probably, unless like Kamo can deal with him, which is another reason why we have the breaking swipe on as well. But yeah, now I think our Chaladon's probably the biggest threat, however, on the rain teams with this squad. But I think Sableye can be trusted a little bit in that regard. But anyway, yeah, I'm yapping a little bit, but oh well, it is what it is. Long story short, Sableye with like disables and encores maybe can like patch things up, fake out, blah blah blah, all that so big ordeal. But yeah, at some point maybe I'd consider still bringing Altaria back, but as of now I feel like this is a very versatile squad that like kind of lets us bring any of the 6 and any fight, whereas Altaria was a little bit more like kind of full investment into the Perish and like also didn't really have pivoting moves. So it was really good to turn off weather, but like that's all it technically was good for. But all things considered, Altaria really put in work for us. So it's not over yet. It's just that I do want to continue testing stuff, and to do 2 slots at a time is pretty nice. And then Morpeko covering for the whole weather weakness a little bit is also something I want to give a try at. But anyway, soft video. I'll talk more about Morpeko in another one, and probably more about Sableye in another one too. So anyway, that's all. If you guys enjoyed the vid and you want to show support that you made all the way through, put Sableye in the comments, show support that you made all the way through to the end here, and let's try this one to 200 likes. But anyway, other than that, hope you enjoyed. Feel free to check out that playlist that's popping up right now of the whole Pokédex entries that I'm doing. We're gonna have 2 more of those videos dropping today, and then tomorrow again we'll probably get to either more Sableye gameplay or more Morpeko gameplay. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. On that, take it easy, man. Peace.